Eileo guys, and welcome back. So for today's account review, we have Dialitus from Kaizen. If you guys haven't already, please check out the Mona review where you don't get to hear my voice, you get to hear Dialitus' voice. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Dialitus is level 63, so following the new account review format, since he's over 55, I plan to do a thorough analysis of his account. I haven't gone into it yet because all I have done is just logged in. But we're going to see what he's working with, and then we're going to go from there. If it will load up. Alright, so hold on. It's not being very cooperative. Doesn't need to download everything. Alright, so I'm looking, there's a lot of copies, so I can bypass those copies. Let me do this real quick. I like to do it by element because that's just me. Michelle's like, I can't do this, man. This is just too much. Alright, so many of them are Knuckles, and the level 50s and stuff I won't even bother with. And some slimes, but let's go ahead and do this, my boys. We'll look at his Golem team right after this, and maybe his PvP team as well. But let's start off with his Fire Yuki. So he has a Super Evo Fire Yuki on a Valor set, and she is rocking defense, attack, and then HP. So traditional bruiser build. That gem has some nice resist on it and some defense. Nothing else really there. He is in the process of skill booking her up. He just needs one more skill book and she's good to go. She is an attacker type, but her main selling point is being able to debuff, and I'm sure that she can do that. Valor helps give her the damage that she needs because he's not running double attack on her, but again, she's a debuffing unit, so I don't see much problem with her. He has a Super Evo Fire Miho as well with a whole bunch of crit rate somehow. Looks like it's on a life set as well, so she's rocking attack with some crit rate and some recovery. She has a crit rate gem on her with some defense and recovery and attack. And then also an attack gem with some crit rate. Looks like you're making her more of an attacker. So HP Siphon is kind of nullified since it restores allies HP in proportion to the amount of damage dealt. Oh yeah, actually it's not nullified. So he's taking maximum use of the HP Siphon by trying to offset her tanky stats with attack, so that actually makes sense. That's actually a great way to build her. You get a little bit of damage out of her, and mainly her 5-star skill isn't useless because she's just stacked with HP. She has plenty of crit rate too, so she should be critting fairly often. Maybe not 100%, but she should be critting fairly often, which does help with that damage. But overall, good build overall. Next up is Fire Succubus. I don't think I like her already, because that crit rate is not maxed. What is going on here, dude? What is going on? But she's on a life set, so she's rocking crit rate, which that could be increased, but that's a nice defense bonus on that one. An HP gem with some defense, some crit rate and crit damage, and then an attack gem. So what was that, HP? So HP, attack, crit rate, which is normally what I have mine on. She is super evoed as well, but she's not skill booked up, so I'm wondering if you even invest in her anymore. If you do, probably get her crit rate up, but if you're not going to invest in her, then there's no real point of me saying any of this because you're not using her. Moving on though, we have Wild Fang here. She's rocking some 50% resist, a little bit of crit rate, but she's rocking HP with some attack subs up there, an attack gem with some resist, HP, and a little bit of crit rate. And then attack as well, some resist and some crit damage. So HP attack on a Valor set is perfectly fine. You can build Wild Fang however that you like. There's no real wrong way of building her unless you built a Fire Wild Fang with triple HP. And then if you did that, you deserve you deserve what you get, but she's built fine. I mean, I have no real complaints. Fire Tiger over here, who's over here loading on a Valor set once again, rocking some attack with some resist, a defense gem with a little bit of attack and crit rate, and then another attack gem with some crit, and he comes with defense down and sap, so balance type, and that was what again? Attack, defense. Again, not a big issue. His main selling point, just like Fire Yuki, is primary debuffing, and I'm sure he does that. And the Valor gives him a little bit more damage that he would have otherwise with maybe triple attack or pretty much triple attack, but it helps to give him some damage while keeping him in the job of debuffing. Next up, we have Fire Vamp over here at Evo 3. Triple Square Master Race. He actually built one, and he does need crit as well, but he's rocking a broken set. Attack, crit rate. Yeah, he should definitely be able to hit his max. 13.5% crit, 6%. He should be very, very close if that crit rate gem got up, but I'm assuming that you used him at some point in time, but now that you abandon him, nothing really wrong with that, in my opinion. I have never used a vamp at all, but he does need crit for both his Adrenaline and Hunter. So if you used him in the past, I'm sure he had max crit, which you could easily get with an Intuition set. But if you don't use him now, we're not even going to bother. You have an Evo 3 level 60 Fire C-Star on a Valor set. I'm curious as to why, but she's rocking attack, HP, and then attack. Was this like a fun project? She's not booked up either. Was this like a fun project? I'm not really sure what's going on here. Her gems are fine though. She doesn't really need anything besides pretty much attack, because it's not like a Ruin set is really going to benefit her, but this might have been just for fun. You do have a Fire Brawn, my boy. The Fire Brawn squad, man. I have mad respect. I have a Fire Brawn too. Nothing wrong with that, but you have him on a Vitality set, which I'm curious as to why. But he's on HP attack. Nothing wrong with that. Fire Brawn, of course, is a Nat 2, so you can't expect too much out of him. He is usable in B9. And I don't mean Dragon's B9. I mean Golem's B9. But I have nothing to say about him. Alright, and this is Fire Boltwing, also on a Valor set, rocking attack, defense. Nothing really stand outish on these gems at all. In my opinion, he is like Fire Odin, but bad, because of him being an attacker. He has attacker stats, but no HP at all, no defense at all. And the only way to use him, even though he's an attacker type with debuffing properties to him, is to build him defensively, which kind of offsets his lack of attack, even though he's attacker. Not my favorite mon. Just not my favorite mon. Looks cool, but doesn't really do the job. And I could see that you probably looked at him and was like, oh, this would be cool. Then you were like, nah, bruh. Never mind. Next up is Fire Shinobi there that you have at Evo 3. Rocking a Ruin set. He's got a defense gem on him with attack 13% in HP and crit damage. He has a crit rate gem with some defense on it and some HP. It's a pretty good crit gem. And then attack with some resist. My only complaint here, though, is you have him on Ruin, and 64% is a tad bit low. I understand that it's very difficult to get 100% crit rate on a Ruin set. I'm not hating you for that, but my only personal suggestion for you is, if possible, get that crit rate up even a little bit more whenever you can. And other than that, man, have at it. I'm sure you outdamage me in Titans anyway, so it don't even matter, man. It doesn't even matter. And you have a Fire Neza on a Ruin set as well. She's rocking an attack gem with some crit damage, defense, and crit rate. And then a defense gem with some crit rate and crit damage and resist. And then a crit rate gem, which I'm sure if you finish up, she should be pretty close to max crit rate. So I would swap one of these gems out with Fire Shinobi and give him that crit, because her having crit doesn't really benefit her. I mean, it's not the end of the world that you have her built like this. On what was she again? Attack, defense, and crit rate. It's not the end of the world that you have her built like this, but that damage might be more importantly used on Fire Shinobi because her main job is just to debuff. Her stats are just too low anyways for damage to be a real focus for her, but it's just a suggestion. Next up is Fire Cupid. Let me move over here. I feel like I'm like dodging my camera a little bit. How does one work this technology? But Fire Cupid over here, he's rocking a life set. You have him on attack, HP, and then HP. But you do have some recovery subs on that HP gem, which 26% is pretty nice. 7.5% is fine, and that's pretty much it for him. No real complaints here either. If it works, it works, like I've learned in the past before. If it works, it works. Yeah, as long as he has some recovery subs, then he should be fine to build him however you like, and you have an HP gem on him. Next up, you have an Evo 2 Fire Garuda. I'm wondering if you're using him, but he's on a Valor set rocking HP, crit rate, and then crit damage. I don't think you're using him. I think you're just holding on to him at the moment because of his variant skill. Maybe you have like a wood one. We can check real quick. Yep, you do have 2 wood ones, so you're probably holding on to him, so I won't even bother with that commentary. Next up, we have 2 Fire Drakas, not 1, but 2 Fire Drakas. One is on a Conviction set, rocking some max resist, attack with some crit rate and resist, and then an HP gem with some crit rate and resist and attack, and then attack with some defense and some resist. So definitely a PvP Draka. No problems here. If you're running double Drakas, you need to confuse whoever that you're trying to fight or whoever's fighting you. And then the other one is built more damage based, which is fine, but you have him on a Zeal set rocking attack, HP, and then attack. Nothing wrong with that either. In the future, it is kind of difficult to get good Zeal gems because they primarily come from Colossus, at least the 5 and 6 star ones. But in the future, definitely aims for some more crit rate if you can. Not 100% necessary, but it would benefit him if you're running one Draka that is tankier than the other. You can kind of surprise people with this one hitting like a truck. But overall, not super duper bad. And you got 2 Fire Verdes over here. You have a triple square Master Race Fire Verde. Then you have an almost triple square Master Race Fire Verde. She does not need crit, so you have one built more defensively, rocking attack with some resist, HP with some attack, and then attack with a little bit of crit rate on her. My only suggestion is if in the future, if you can get her an elite set, definitely keep her an elite set. Her gems are fine. She should do her job. You're trying to add a little bit more survivability to her, even though she's balance type. I personally would just aim for a leech set. Like HP attack is fine. Or you can aim for a ruin set. There's nothing wrong with that either. This one has crit rate, attack, and then attack. Definitely nothing wrong with that either. She's 71% crit. She doesn't need crit, but that could definitely help with her damage. I don't really see much of an issue here. Good job, man. Good job. Fire Anew. I have nothing to say about Fire Anew. If you guys haven't seen my review yet for my Firemons, you will know that Fire Anew is just there, so I'm not even going to waste my time on him. Fire Pandora is next. She the one that needs crit. Yeah, she does need crit for her morale boost to work. Not necessary at all. Not necessary at all. Could it hurt to have it? No, but is it worth going out of your way for? No. But defense gem with some nice recovery on that, little bit of resist, and then a crit rate gem with some resist on it as well, and then an attack gem with a little bit of crit rate on it, some crit damage. Definitely not a problem as far as this is concerned. I would just wish you would maybe top off the crit rate gems on your account so far, because I don't know, maybe I'm slightly OCD with crit rate gems, but I like to have them max just for maximum potential from RNG. Even though if it's not at 100, she might not crit anyways, but oh well. Oh well. Overall, she does her job though, and she's rocking defense, crit rate, and attack. She works, man. And two of these guys over here. One isn't gemmed up yet, which maybe you're working towards him or you just gave up. But he's on a vitality set, rocking HP with some defense, some attack, and a whole bunch of resist on this one. This one has some recovery and resist. And then HP with some recovery and attack and defense. Okay, yeah, that set's fine. He has plenty of recovery from the subs and the set alone. And then you offset that with the other gems having recovery subs for him. No problems, dude. No problems at all. So I'm sure you'll follow suit with the next one that you get. Fire Arthur over here at Evo 2. Rocking an intuition set with HP up there. Nice attack on that gem. Very nice attack. A little bit of resist and a little bit of defense. And that was an HP gem. The next one is attack with some HP on it and a little bit of resist. And then the last one is attack as well. Definitely nothing wrong with that. You're trying to make him more attack based than defense based, which is perfectly fine. But I'll talk about Fire Arthur later. I'll talk about him later. I have no problems with him. I'm sure he survives. He does as much damage as an Evo 2 Arthur can do. And his main job is really surviving and CCing, and I'm sure he does that. Then you have a fire, what's this dude's name? It's not Zubaji. Xiao Jing, I believe. But you have him on a ruin set, and he is a courageous striker. There's a whole bunch of recovery in that gem. But attack, crit rate, and then attack with some crit rate up there as well. 71% crit rate, definitely not bad at all. He doesn't need crit rate to do damage either, but it does help, especially with the courageous strike. Definitely a Titan's Mon. I have no real complaints. I mean, I love to have Sea Strikers on Leech. That's me personally, but if you can't do Leech, Intuition, Conviction, or especially rolling with near max crit or max crit, definitely does the job. Then you have an Evo 2 Fire Purse on a Valor set. Looks like you're going for a whole bunch of crit up there, but she's on attack, crit rate, and then HP. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. If you can get her crit rate a little bit higher, that would be beneficial just towards clearing waves. Sap does not change whether you have 1 million attack or you have 1 attack. It does whatever damage that the monster that you applied it on, HP is. That's it. That's it. This is just for wave clearing. My suggestion though is perhaps if you get better gems in the future, maybe take that HP gem off and see if she survives. If she does, I mean, if she doesn't survive, keep the HP gem up there. But if she does survive, maybe take advantage of that crit rate. But as she sits now, I'm not even sure if you use her. She's fine. She's fine. Next up is Fire on my OG. Level 60. You do have her built up with some resist, so you probably use her sometime in PvP or clan versus clan. But she's on a protection set, rocking attack with some resist up there. HP with some resist and crit rate. And then HP again with some resist, defense, and crit rate. Nothing wrong with that. You're trying to give her a little bit of damage because she is a tank type. And you're supplementing a defense gem with her protection set. No real issues here. You're aiming for max resist, which is her selling point, because you want her to be annoying with her SP siphon and her defense down, and no complaints. You have an Evo 2 Fire Bast. I don't know about Fire Bast because I fed all mine, unfortunately, but you do have her on a Pugilist set, rocking defense, HP, and then recovery. So you're trying to get her recovery as well, and since you're not really supplementing that with her gems, you're trying to offset that with the recovery gem on Pugilist. Nothing wrong with that. Her resist is very, very high, even on a Pugilist set, so she can stun while she's doing Battle Rush, and that could be very, very helpful. No complaints. If I was to build a Fire Bass, it would definitely be like this. No complaints at all. Fire Lat, not really worth getting into. Fire Gemini, not worth getting into. Fire Gemini is garbage. I need to make a video. I keep saying it, I will, but I need to make a video because she's just gagged me with a machete. The rest, really not worth looking at either. You might use some of these for Titans, but probably not. They are gemmed, but they're really not worth the time. If they're not level 60, I'm not going to really waste too much time focusing on this. You do have a Fire Beth on a Siphon set? No. Magic set for SP gain. You might have just been testing that out, having fun. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have a level 60 Fire Katine though. What is going on here, man? What is going on? But a whole bunch of Fire Nuts. And then we're going to move on to the water ones. Alright, moving on. We have Water Anew here on a Valor set with some super duper high crit rate. He has some resist on him as well. Nice crit rate on that gem right there. That is absolutely beautiful. And some crit damage. And then the last one, a little bit of crit rate on it. You could definitely offset that in the future with a good gem or two, which you might already have. Over here being nosy. Like that gem right there could go ahead and complete him whenever you get the time. But very high resist on him. A whole bunch of crit rate as well. I'm sure he does his job. He's like, what is it? Water Valk? Yeah, he's like Water Valk but reversed. So he has debuffing properties on his 3-star skill and then Predator on a 5-star skill, which can really offset that damage from him. Just he's better used probably on manual because the CPU will make everything attack whatever he defense downs if it does survive. But good build on him. Definitely a good build. I'm sure that you probably use him somewhere. Next up you have Water Yuki Super Evo'd as well. Looks like she's on a Valor set that you might have just gave up commitment on. But she's rocking attack, HP, and then attack. Nothing wrong with that. She is a tank type though, so you're trying to offset her lack of damage by giving her damage on the Valor set. But she has plenty of HP already. Defense could be better, but she has plenty of HP, so surviving wherever that you're using her at shouldn't be much of a problem. Once again, Sap does scale off the monster's HP, so it doesn't really matter what her attack stat is. But it's nice that you try to offset that by giving her a Valor set, so I have no real complaints on her. Then you have a Super Evo Fire Suck. Not a Fire Suck, a Water Suck. A Water Suck, you have her fully booked up as well. Beautiful. Beautiful on a Pugilist set. She's rocking HP with a whole bunch of crit rate in that gem. Very, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And then you have a crit rate gem. And then an attack gem that has some crit rate, defense, and resist on it. Definitely nothing wrong with that. My only problem though is maybe one day you can get a better crit rate gem for her just to finish her off. Which is easier said than done because we all know dragons is a scam. But good resist on her, nearly max crit on her. Great job, man. Great job. This is a pretty good water suck. Then you have a Super Evo Water Miho. Because why not? And you have Schoolgirl lowly version, but she's rocking attack, and then defense. Nothing wrong with that. Defense or HP, very, very interchangeable. She has some resist on her and a little bit of crit rate. Her primary use is as a sapper for B10 in my opinion. Anywhere else, maybe one of the Colossus. I'm not an expert on that Colossus though because I don't even do it, but she does her job. Only one Water Mona? What is this? She's fully booked up on a Valor set, rocking attack, and triple attack. So I'm going to go ahead and assume she's a B8 Mon. She doesn't really need crit. You're rocking her with triple attack on a Valor set, so you're taking maximum advantage of her being an attacker and probably in B8. No real problems with her. Then your Water Valk over here is on a Conviction set with nearly max resist on her. Nearly max resist, beautiful. But attack with some crit damage and crit rate and some resist. Another attack gem with a whole bunch of crit rate on that one. And then an HP gem with a whole bunch of resist on that one. Very, very beautiful. Curious as to where you use her at. If you use her in PvP, that might be why she has that high resist. Or if you don't even use her anymore, I can understand. But definitely not a Mon to be 1v1 with, because she hits like a truck. Very, very useful in clan versus clan, but that's pretty much it for me. Then you have a Water Yaksha over here on an Intuition set, which you have her coming in with Overkill for her crit rate, but you have her on an Intuition set with crit rate, attack, and then attack as well. Nothing wrong with that. I would say probably put her on ruin if you use her. Put her on ruin. There's really no excuse as to why she can't have max crit rate with a base crit rate of 40% for both of her skills. All you need is 60% more, which you get 54% from a crit rate gem. So really no excuse there if you use her. If you don't use her, then disregard. Water Shelly over here with some resist. He's rocking attack, defense, attack. His primary point is just to debuff with a defense gem. That should definitely help him if you still use him. No real complaints right there. Okay, resist on him. Water Neza, which I just built like yesterday because Astro Guide purposes only, but you have her on an HP set, rocking attack, and then triple attack. So you're trying to get the most damage out of her while having her with some HP on her, not much defense, but she has attack down and blind, so maybe you're trying to take advantage of her having nerfing whatever titans that she's fighting's attack, so she can survive with just healers. Perhaps get more resist on her. Not a big expert with titans, she might not even need it, but if it works, man, it works. Then you have an Evo 3 Water Draka, which is always wonderful for titans with his double weaken, but you have him on a ruin set, rocking attack, HP, and then defense. So bruiser build pretty much. He has a little bit of everything on him. Attacker type, I have no complaints. I mean, his job is to debuff and survive, and as long as he's doing that, he's doing his job. Water Jiangshi, whatever the heck you want to call her, has double curse skills off of attack and nothing else, but you have HP, defense, attack. So bruiser build as well. I'm not even sure if you use her, so I'm not going to really bother with that. We'll have to look at your B10 team. But then you have a Water Lat over here, rocking attack, triple attack. So I'm not sure if you use him either, but you do have him booked up and you do have some resist on him. Water Lat is fairly tanky. He has plenty of HP, but his defense is not very good. Not very good at all. Neither is his attack, but you're trying to offset that attack with giving him some more attack for damage. If you use him, my suggestion, maybe give him a little bit more defense. Not necessary if you don't use him though. Evo 3 Water Shiva over here that you have on a Pugilist set, rocking HP, defense, and then attack. So bruiser build on a Pugilist set. He could use some more resist if you're using him defensively, because I know people are going to gun for him. I would gun for him because of how annoying SP Siphon is on a monster that I can't, or I can barely one-shot. But other than that, I have no complaints. Of course, this is easier said than done because of it being a Pugilist set, but just for future reference. If you use him, that is. If you use him. Then Water Sira over here with max crit rate. He's pretty much done. As long as he has max crit rate, I don't care what you have on him. But he's rocking attack, crit rate. So you're trying to maximize his attack, especially for his 5-star skill, which is single target with Predator. His primary selling point is CCing, just like Fire Arthur. So as long as he survives and as long as he has that max crit, he does his job. Then you have an Evo 3 Water Purse, which I am jelly over because I would love an Evo 3 Water Purse, but she's on an HP set, coming in with 61% resist. Beautiful, but HP with some resist, HP with some little bit of resist, a little bit of defense, and a whole bunch of attack on it. And then an HP gem with a whole bunch of attack on it, a little bit of crit rate, and a little bit of resist. She's fine. Triple HP on a HP set. There's nothing more you can do for a Water Purse. And it looks like you're working on getting your Water Arthur to Evo 3. But he's rocking a Pugilist set with HP, defense, and defense. So you're building him very, very defensively, which is fine. Definitely get his resist up in the future if you can. Not a big deal, but it is Pugilist, so we know how hard that is. But other than that, he should be fine. You're building him as tanky as possible so he can survive and get that attack down off. And he should get that off fairly quickly. And 60% chance for 3 turns is actually a lot. A lot. Alright, moving on. You have that lovely, lovely Water Barona, which I would love to have. But she's on a Valor set, rocking attack, defense, and then attack. So you're trying to maximize her damage with giving her a little bit of survivability. If you can't do Leech for Sea Strikers, Valor is perfectly fine. Intuition or Ruin is perfectly fine as well. You have very, very high resist on her. A little bit of crit rate as well. No HP though, so I'm kind of wondering how well does she survive. Definitely love a take on that, but I don't have a Water Barona to prove anything. But if she works, she works. Then you have 2 Evo 2 Wet Enders, which I'm jelly over. But you have them on HP set, rocking attack with a whole bunch of crit rate on that gem. Another attack gem, and then triple attack and HP. So you're offsetting his lack of an HP gem or lack of a defense gem with the 20% HP. That might not be enough to make up for his loss of stats at Evo 2. Maybe more so at Evo 3, but you're going for that burst damage. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I don't know what his damage is, but hey man, if it works, it works. And then you have another Ender on a Ruin set. Again, you're going for that high resist. But he has attack, and then HP. Curious as to why he's on a Ruin set though, if his crit is nowhere near max. That's my only real questioning here. Just a little bit curious as to why he's up there. In my opinion, he would benefit more from an Intuition set at this point, or even just a Valor set. But I'm sure if he crits, his damage is nice. But if he doesn't crit, which is probably very, very high, it's not the best. But that's my only suggestion for him. Then your Water Sig over here, you're going nearly max crit on this dude. A little bit of resist, but he's rocking defense, crit rate, and then attack. Definitely get that crit rate gem up. There's no reason why you shouldn't, in my opinion. Other than that, no real complaints on him either. You're trying to maximize his DPS. Then you have a Water Nightmare with some resist on her and some surprisingly high crit rate for her. But she's on an HP set, rocking defense, attack, HP. So HP set with a bruiser build. Nothing wrong with that. You're giving her some defense, a little bit of attack, which is kind of surprising for a defender type, but I could see how that could be helpful. And then she has just a little bit of everything. Not sure if you use her because she is only at Evo 2, but nothing wrong with that one. Then you have a Water Hades over here with nearly max crit rate on him. I say nearly max even though it's only 71%, and then 50% resist, but he's rocking HP, attack, crit rate, so more of a bruiser-ish type build, but some damage in there as well. Nothing wrong with that. He's a balanced type. If it works, you guys can finish that. And then you have a Water Bass, which I freaking love my Water Bass, but you have her on, what is this? Gem of Longevity set. So it boosts her resist and HP up. So her resist is currently at 51%, but you have her on attack, HP flat, and then defense. Nothing wrong with that. You do have a recovery sub on that gem right there. You do have a nice recovery sub on that gem, so her recovery is covered. Even though she's a tank type, she does need that recovery to get her 5-star skill up quicker. But she's covered, man. She's covered. I don't really see much of an issue here. You have a Water Poseidon, but he's only Evo 1. Not really worth covering. Evo 1 Artemis. She can be at Evo 1. Her main selling point is sap. But you have her on a Valor set with defense, attack, and then HP. Bruiser build's fine. If you ever end up Evo 2ing her, my suggestion is HP attack. I have 2 of them. They survive in Golems B10 just fine. But if you don't use her in Golems B10, then there's no point in building her. None at all. Then some level 50 mons, probably more Titan-ish mons. You got a Beth over here. You got a Water Bell Pup, some Water Sirens. not really worth taking a look at. Let's move on to Wood though. So you have a Wood anew, but he's on a ruin set, but with, what is that, 61%, and then he has his crit lead as well. Near max crit rate, near max crit rate. My suggestion already is just to level up these crit rate gems. That's all you gotta do. Level them up if you use these mons, my boy. Just level these gems up and congratulations, you're done. It's over. It's over. But he's rocking crit rates, attack, and then attack. That's how I would build my anew. Definitely take advantage of that double hunter. Get as much damage out of him as you can, especially with that crit lead. Definitely helps ruin. Great mon. You do have him super evoed. I would love for this dude to have books in the future. I would love it, man. 433, you need to just go ahead and like give us one update at least a month or every 2 months where it's nothing but purely skill books. I would be so happy if so many other mons had skill books as well. I would be so happy and so blessed. But moving on to Eileo. You have some resist on him as well. He's on a Valor set, but he's rocking HP, attack, and attack. So you're trying to get a little bit more damage out of him. Not a big issue because his defense is already pretty high. His HP is okay. It could be better, but you did offset that a little bit, and he does have an HP lead, which could be very, very helpful as well. Nothing wrong with that. He's at plus 12 gems though, so I'm assuming maybe he's more of a Titans mon, or just a clan versus clan mon used for debuffing with a little bit of attack. But overall, no complaints. Next up is your Wood Miho, who you have super evoed, and she's on the Valor set, rocking HP with some nice resist, and then some attack, and then an attack gem, and then defense. So pretty much a bruiser build on her, and that Valor set gives her a little bit more boost to her attack. If you use her, I don't really see much of a problem here. If you don't use her, I really don't see much of a problem either. She looks cool, but she could be better in my opinion. She's probably the least favorite out of the bunch for me of the Mihos because she's an attacker, but I don't know. It's not good enough for me, man. It's not good enough. Then you have your Wood Boltwing over here on an intuition set. Double HP siphon, so it's like Wood Artemis and Wood Valk, but worse. His stats aren't really that great, but you have him on intuition set with attack, triple attack. So I'm not sure where you use him at, if you use him at all, but definitely not the best in my opinion. Wood Kokumaru that you have on a Vitality set. I'm not sure why, but oh well. Attack, HP, perfectly fine. That's normally how I build my attackers. Wood Squirrus, I'm sure that you use him in Titans only, but on a Valor set, rocking attack. Nice defense sub and nice crit rate sub on that one. A crit rate gem, and then attack. So you have him going straight all out, just glass cannon. Very interested to see how he performs with nearly max crit, a little bit of resist up there. No defense and no HP at all basically, but a very, very okay attack stat. Then Wood Tiger over here, rocking crit rate, defense, and attack. Maybe you just gave up on him as well. Not understanding why he has a crit rate gem, but nowhere near max crit. He doesn't really need crit either. Not sure here. Maybe you're working on him and you gave up. Nothing wrong with that though, because you do have other mons. Then you have a Wood Fibian on a conviction set, rocking 60% resist and almost 50%, well 51% for his crit rate. But he's on attack, crit rate, and then attack. So you're trying to get a little bit more damage out of him. Very, very tanky mon already. If he's dying early, perhaps switch one of those attack gems out with a defense gem. I don't really find mine dying though. His main purpose though is to debuff, so having him being able to resist whatever is attacking him so he can debuff is priority number 1. Then you have an Evo 3 Pinocchio with nearly max crit on a defense set to give him some more defense, but attack, HP, and then crit rate. Nothing wrong with that. definitely nothing wrong with that. Great Mon, even with his nerf, he's still pretty good. Not as good as he used to be, but still pretty good. Next up is not Water Hana, but Wood Hana. She's on a Conviction set, rocking HP with some resist up there, defense with some recovery, and then HP with some defense and resist. I don't really see much problem here. Very, very high resist, especially with that Conviction set. But as long as she does her job, as long as she's healing everyone up, that should be fine. But I think with her recovery stat being that high, there's not much that you need to do to tweak her in order for her to heal quite quickly. Fire Cupid with not Fire Cupid. I have elemental issues right now. I don't know why. I'm just having elemental issues. But Wood Cupid with 70% resist. Very, very high resist on this dude. But he's on a conviction set, rocking defense, HP with some recovery and crit rate and resist up there. And then HP again. You do have recovery subs, so it's not a real big deal of him not having of a recovery set or a recovery gem set. Curious as to where you use him at. Maybe you use him for Titans just for his shield. But overall, definitely not a bad build on him. And Evo 1 P.A.K.A. I'm not even going to waste my time reviewing that dude. Evo 3 Kana, who needs max crit, but you have her on attack, HP. Nice sub on that HP gem with that crit rate. The nice sub on that one as well. And then okay sub on that one. In my opinion though, I would just give her a crit rate gem instead of that attack gem if you want more survivability out of her, because her skills scale off her being able to hit crit. So if she can't crit on her 5-star skill, then Courageous Strike is 150% useless. So that might offset her damage by giving her more crit rate and push her closer to being at max crit, especially with a crit lead for Titans. But obviously if she crits more in this build, she's going to do more damage. But if she's critting all the time, she should do more damage anyways over time, because she's able to hit her 5-star reliably. But that's my only complaint with her. Wood Mowgli, who you have fully booked up, nearly max crit on her, 85%. I'll take 85%, man. I'll take 85%. Nice crit rate sub on that. But HP, crit rate, and then attack. Yep. She's fine. You have her booked up. I have no complaints. And then a Wood Sparket, which I haven't seen in quite a while. But you have him on a Valor set, rocking crit, attack, and then HP. I don't believe he needs crit. Yeah, he doesn't need crit. Elemental Edge and attack down. Not a bad mon, just kind of underplayed compared to the other Sparkets, because especially Water Sparket and Light and Dark Sparket can be a lot more useful than him. Maybe you build him up, or maybe that you used him one day but you just let him go. No real big issue there, but decent crit rate on him. Decent crit rate. Next up is your Wood Thor. Good Titans mon right there. You do have 4 books for him, so I'm not sure if you're building him or maybe a Dark Thor for those books, but they could definitely be helpful. He does need max crit, which is what you gave him, but he's rocking attack with a nice crit rate sub up there. HP with all kinds of recovery, but a little bit of crit rate and then resist and then a crit rate gem. That's fine. That's fine. I have mine on an intuition set. I have no complaints. And then a Wood Kira over here. Nearly max resist, coming at 67%. She is on an HP life gem set, rocking attack, HP, and then HP. But you do, I believe I did see, yep, you have a little bit of recovery right there. And then not much recovery right there. I'm curious to see how well she recovers. Well, how fast she gets her resilience buff up. So perhaps give her a better recovery sub on one of the gems. But other than that, she should be okay. If it works, man, it works. She might work right now, so you can disregard what I'm saying. But you have a Wood Minicat next on a Vitality set, rocking defense with a fat stack of attack on that gem. HP with some crit rate and recovery, and then HP again with some resist. Definitely not a problem here. You have plenty of recovery on him, It's over 3k. It's over 9,000. His primary selling point is attack up, and I'm sure he does that. And you have another wood. Yeah, you have 2 wood Hanas, so I'll skip over that one. Then you have a wood Garuda, which I am jelly over, but on a ruin set with crit rate, attack, and HP. Nothing wrong with that. Nice defense sub on that one, and nice resist sub as well. A little bit of crit damage and resist, and then pretty much HP on that one. My only suggestion is, because he's on ruin, get his crit rate up if you can. Other than that, he's fine, man. He is fine. Evo 2 would Merlin, if he would load. I feel like I'm getting a hand cramp. Rest in peace. But you have him on a Valor set, rocking attack, HP, and then attack. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. It has a little bit of crit rate up there for him and a little bit of resist. He's balanced type. If it works, it works. Evo 2 Wood Wukong. I'm surprised that you actually use him. But he's rocking attack, and then HP. You're giving him more attack with that Valor set. His primary focus is debuffing, so make sure he's debuffing as long as he can debuff. Nothing wrong with that, but he has plenty of HP. Defense is a little bit low. Attack is great though. As long as he debuffs, I don't care what you build him with. As long as he debuffs and survives. Let me correct that. Then an Evo 2 Indra. Looks like you might have used him, but you might have given up, or you just want to invest in other mons. But HP set, rocking attack, defense, and then attack again. A little bit of crit rate on him, a little bit of resist. More of a PvP mon. Not a bad mon, but out of the Indras, if I had a water Indra, I would Evo 3 that water Indra in a heartbeat over a wood Indra, because there's plenty of other CCers, especially mons that aren't wood type, because we all know Fire Jacka in his meta. And then an Evo 2 wood purse. Not really worth talking about in my opinion. You can use her in, I believe, Colossus, but other than that, You have her on a ruin set though, rocking defense, attack, and then attack. No real complaints. Another wood Garuda on a life set, this time with a little bit of resist. Decent crit rate on him, 52%, but the HP set has attack with some nice crit rate on that gem. HP with some crit rate, and then attack and resist. And a defense gem with pretty decent attack on it and some resist. So more of a bruiser build, because he is only Evo 2, but he should survive fairly well on maybe HP attack if you ever thought about that, because of him being balanced type. Obviously more beneficial at Evo 3. It's just a matter of getting him to Evo 3 if that's possible, but okay build on him. Could be better in my opinion, but okay build. And then an Evo 1 Sansang, who you got rocking attack, HP, and then defense. So classic bruiser build. Her main job is just to debuff with attack down 90% chance for 2 turns. Then if that's not enough for you, the attack down 60% chance for 2 turns for her 5-star skill. Her job once again is just to debuff. So long as she can debuff, that's pretty much it. But attack, HP, and then defense bruiser build, no problems there. Then I see a wood Banshee, a wood Mona, a wood Siren, and then the rest really not worth talking about. So let's go ahead and move on to the light and dark mons. Alright, moving on. We have Light Miho over here, super evoed. You have her all decked out with her trinkets. 41% resist on a broken set, but she's rocking attack with some nice resist on that gem right there. Some very, very nice resist. A defense gem with some crit rate on it. Good crit rate on that gem right there. And then an HP gem. So a bruiser build with a little bit of everything on it. Definitely fine. Definitely fine. She's already quite tanky. Fearless Taunt makes her even more tankier. So giving her some damage could be helpful in certain situations. She has plenty of HP. And yeah, no problems here, man. She's looking good. Then you got your Light Nike over here. You have her on a protection set. Should be triple defense. Defense with some resist. Defense gem with a little bit of resist on it. And then crit rate. Attack doesn't matter at all. And then defense gem with some crit rate on it and a little bit of resist. My only complaint is if you're using her, definitely get her crit rate up if possible. I understand that it's hard because she is on a defensive set. It's not worth giving her a crit rate gem over. But if you do use her, which she is fully booked up, you have her super evo with trinkets. Definitely aim to get her either her resist or her crit rate higher. It doesn't have to be both, but aim to get either one higher. Like Mowgli, which I need one whenever like Mowgli comes back. You do have trinkets on her as well. I mean, they're not leveled, but you do have trinkets, which is more than I could say for my mons. But attack gem, some nice crit rate on it, then crit rate with some decent attack on it, a little bit of defense and crit damage, and then another attack gem with some crit rate and some crit damage on it, and a nice defense sub on it. And then she also has Hunter, so she might need a crit lead just to hit her max crit because she needs that for her Hunter for her first skill. But 94% is already pretty darn good even on a ruin set, so maybe get her crit up if you need to, or just run her for crit lead and she should do her job. Then in Evo 3, Light Sarah, Sierra, whatever the heck you want to call her. Doesn't look like you might currently use her though, because you have her on a protection set, rocking attack, HP, and then attack. Definitely not a bad set. I mean, with Battle Rush, she is able to heal herself every turn and then get her SP bar up every turn as well. But her primary uses is just being a wave clearer, so running HP attack is fine. Running triple attack is fine. Running crit rate attack is probably the best as a wave clearer. But if you have other wave clearers like your Draka, then there's no point in investing in more than 3 in my opinion. But here we have Light Birdie on a Valor set, rocking attack, some nice defense on that gem right there. Attack once again, a little bit of resist, and then HP attack. He can boost up his SP, and then Predator also boosts his damage up on his AoE. Combined with the Valor set, if you use him, he's fine. If you do use him, let's see about his books though. He has plenty of books, so you can book him up, no problem. But you probably don't. He's probably just there. Then you have a triple square master race, Light Tina, inferior in my opinion to Light Sarah. Not the best one out the bunch, because this one only has morale boost, which is 10% to all allies, instead of Battle Rush, which is 20%. It should be 20% to their own SP. Not the worst, but definitely not the best in the world. But you have her on a Valor set, rocking attack, crit rate, and then HP. So nearly maximum crit rate. Is she crit reliant? She's not crit reliant, but it definitely could help, especially on a Valor set. But no problems. I'm sure this is probably one of your wave clears though, judging how she's built and she's skill booked up. No real complaints right there. I mean, a siphon set if possible. Is it needed? Not necessarily. And then you have 2 Light Phoenix. One is on an SP siphon set. You might use these for B10, but one is just on a ruin set with max crit, but rocking HP. Nice crit on that gem. Attack, nice crit on that gem right there. And then crit rate, of course, max crit, skill booked up. Got trinkets on them. On her, whatever it is, definitely not an issue right there. This other one's on an SP siphon set. Near max crit. So you can maybe run a crit lead, or not necessarily a crit lead, because if it crits once, I'm sure within a turn or two you can get the SP up to just start spamming the defense down. Definitely not an issue right here though. But rocking attack, HP, and then crit rate, just to help them be a little bit more tankier in Golem's B10, because the Golem hits hard. Light Lat is next. Looks like he might have abandoned him though. But attack, defense, nothing wrong with that. Some nice resist on that gem, some nice attack as well. If you use him, which you probably don't, but if you use him, definitely aim to get his resist a little bit higher. If not, go for a little bit more crit rate on him, even though he's balance type. But as his gems are now, they seem like they're fine if you use them. If you don't, Disregard. Light Sherlock over here. Sherlock doesn't have books, does she? Nope. Nope. But you have her on an intuition set. She doesn't need crit, but it can't hurt, especially with her being a light attacker. But attack, HP, nice resist on that gem, and then crit rate. Just get her crit rate up. Maybe she'll be max, close to max. I don't know. Just get her crit rate up, man. Just get her crit rate up. Her primary selling point, though, is exposed weakness and surviving. So if she's dying, change her gems. But if she's not dying and doing her job, disregard. Disregard. And she does have that crit lead as well, but that's only for clan battles. Light Jack over here, who needs crit for both of her moves if you're using her. I repeat, she needs crit for both of her moves. You do have books for her as well. But she's rocking crit rate gem, defense, and then attack. I can understand the defense gem because she is very, very squishy. I think I have mine on like crit rate, attack, maybe crit damage right now, but that's only because she has max crit and I use her only in Colossus. But I can understand the defense gem. If you do use her, make sure you fix her crit as soon as possible because you're not doing her any benefit to any of her moves if she doesn't crit. But if you don't use her, keep on moving. But I definitely love her design. You do have one Light Raditz, which I'm kind of jealous over because I would love to have at least one Light Raditz, but he's on a Siphon set rocking HP, defense, and then attack. Could be fairly squishy as an attacker type in Golem's B10, but defense is surprisingly okay, and attack stat doesn't really matter as long as it can get its 5-star skill off. That way it can start spamming all kinds of sap just over and over and over again. But congrats on that Light Raditz. And you have a Light Kiki over here on a intuition set rocking attack, defense. She is a defender, but I don't believe she's crit reliant. Not crit reliant, but it looks like you're trying to get a little bit more damage out of her. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not even sure if you use her though because she's not booked up, and I don't think Kiki books are fairly hard to get. Nope, 142. They're not fairly hard to get, so maybe you abandon this one. And then Light Phibian, not really worth talking about either. Doesn't seem like you invested too much into him. Light Sandwraith, looks like you did some investment into him, but he does need crit for his unflinching strike to work. But you have him on a protection set rocking HP, crit rates, and then attack. Perhaps put him on an intuition set instead because he's not really benefiting from his 5-star, because if he doesn't crit, it doesn't work. So he's not truly benefiting from that when he could. But again, even though he's a tank type, his damage isn't really that amazing in my opinion, and blind isn't really amazing either unless he's bringing damage with his unflinching strike. But you don't have him booked up either, so maybe you're in the process of using him, but he could use some work. Light Yeti, looks like you might have used her at some point in time, but of course abandoned her as well. But she's a defender type with a protection set rocking defense, attack, HP. So standard bruiser build right there. She does have skill books, so I'm assuming you haven't invested in her because her books aren't maxed. Not a problem. Light 2-star, looks like you might have thought about using her as well, but you were like, forget it, so I'm not even going to waste my time with that. Light Cosmo does need max crit for its adrenaline to work, but you could run 4 Light Cosmos to those out there that made it this far in the video in Golem's B10 and have them clear out Golem's B10 if you need a B10 team, because you don't have like a Light Nike or Light Odin or someone. Not a big deal. Looks like you might have used him at some point in time, but he's not booked up either, so not really a big issue there. Light Suck over here you have on a Ruin set, even though she's a tank type, but she's rocking HP, some resist, HP again, and then triple HP with some resist. Her resist could be higher. She doesn't need crit for her moves to work. You do have her fully booked up as well. My suggestion though is either perhaps give her maybe an HP set, a protection set, any set other than this set, because with her critting with her 2k attack, that's not going to do, it's not going to do diddly squat. Like, that's not going to do any damage, my dude. In my opinion, at least, it's not going to do any damage. But if you use her, which I hope you do, that would be my suggestion for her. Light Pixie. Looks like you do have books for her. You can finish booking her up whenever you get the time to. But she's on a HP set, rocking defense, HP, and then HP. You do have recovery subs, so she's fine. Okay, recovery on her. You have recovery subs. She's fine. Like Kokomaru, you probably don't use this one either, even though he's on an HP set with triple HP. If you did use him, of course, get his resist up if possible, and maybe some crit rate subs just for some damage. But if you don't use him, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's like Kokomaru, dude. It's like Kokomaru. Light Seether, you do have some gems on this one as well. 40% resist on him, but he's on a protection set, rocking defense. Nice resist on that gem right there. Nothing really amazing about that defense gem. And then defense. So defense, triple defense. Yeah, he is a defense aggressor. Nothing wrong with him. Kind of a niche mon though, because that doesn't really benefit him. At least the defense down doesn't, and then the attack isn't really that amazing either, because he needs to charge up his 5-star for it, but he should have some great survivability in PvE. You have a light dart with a square slot, which is what I'm jealous over, because I can never get a light dart with a square slot at all. But he's on an intuition set, rocking HP. Nice crit rate on that gem. Attack, some resist up there, and then crit rate. He's at max crit rate, so I can't complain. I can't complain. Then another light Fennec. So you probably run Fennec with your B10 squad. We'll check that out after though. But he's rocking, it is rocking attack, HP, and then crit rate just for survivability. Fully booked up. You got trinkets, max crit. Fine. Fine. Then light Snow White over here you have on the gem of Magic, whatever the heck you want to call it. But she's rocking attack, defense, which is kind of surprising for a tank type. Maybe you're in the progress of working on her, so I'm not going to really go in depth with her unless you are going to use her. But we can just talk in Discord anyways, and there's other guys that know how to build her, and I'm sure you know how to build her. You just haven't got around to it. But then Light Kana, not worth talking about. She's on Pugilist, HP, defense, attack. Looks like you might have just forgot about her. Not a big deal. I mean, Seal is nice, but 60% shock kind of sucks as a tank type. And you do have Light Snow White, which you do only have one book for her, but in my opinion, I would just book her up instead, because double shock is more useful than Seal and shock, in my opinion, unless you have like a good Sealer mon. And then you have Light Pegasus over here with shock and adrenaline. Shock's actually not that bad. It's actually not that bad, but you have him on a pugilist set, rocking HP, and then defense. And adrenaline is what? Adrenaline is based off his max HP, so there's nothing wrong with that set. Nothing wrong with it at all. My suggestion is that if you are using him as a defensive mon, perhaps work on his resist whenever you can. Not necessary, because I mean, he is on a pugilist set, so you could just be attacking with him. But if you do, definitely work on his resist. Then Light Venus, rocking HP, then HP, triple HP. You do have some recovery subs on her as well. She's fine. She's fine. As long as she has some rec subs and some resist, she's fine. And then Light Mushroom Boy over here. You have some decent resist on him on an HP set. So he's rocking HP, and then HP. No real recovery subs on him, but perhaps you're using him for his adrenaline, really, and not really dominant. So I could definitely understand that. No problems right there. He does need skill books. 433. Where's the skill books at? And then you're rocking a Light Odin. You might be in the process of using her, because it looks like you're gleaming her up. Well, gleaming some other Odins up whenever you get them to get her to Evo 3. But she's on an HP set, rocking HP, and HP. If you can, definitely aim to get higher resist on her if you're going to use her for whatever content you have planned for her. But if you're not going to use her, then it is what it is. Evo 2 Light Sig on a Zeal set, repping HP, attack, and then HP again. I wonder why the double HP. I'm curious as to why the double HP. Maybe that's all that you have at the moment. Definitely not a big issue, but if you can one day get his crit rate up higher, I understand it might be more difficult because of Zeal, but that would benefit him greatly. And next up we have your Light Arthur over here. You haven't really touched him. Maybe you'll get around to him someday. Light Shiva, you haven't touched him either. Oh, my Shiva has the same square slots. I mean, not same square slots, but the same gem slots. I feel happy. Light Misha, not really worth talking about. Light Miho, we already have a Light Miho. Level 40 Light Slime. Definitely build him with triple crit rate, and then you could pretty much beat the game. So definitely build him with triple crit rate, and he should be pretty good. But you got him on attack, defense, and attack. He needs triple crit rate, and then he's excellent. Over here to the dark type. So you have a dark Nike with nearly max crit on her. Some high resist. You do have trinkets on her as well, but she's rocking crit rate, attack, and then HP. So pretty much kind of a bruiser-ish build on her. You do have her fully booked up as well, so I'm sure that you use her. Resist is pretty good, and crit rate's pretty good. No real complaints. And she's fully booked up. No real complaints. Then 3 Dark Mihos, which if I recall, you use for your Dragons B10 team. 1 has a whole bunch of resist up there. 2 has a whole bunch of resist and some crit rate with the intuition set. And they're rocking triple HP. Triple HP. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Great example of a Dark Miho in my opinion. Very great example. This one's okay. Some high resist, but nothing really amazing on this one. And then this one's just a broken set with some crit rate on it. So you're going for more damage out of this one. Even though she is an aggressor, I don't really expect too much damage out of them, but it is what it is. Dark Jiangshi, whatever the heck you want to call her, on a Valor set, rocking HP, attack. Nothing wrong with that. You may not even use her, so I'm not going to really go in depth with her. Dark Lat, what you have with some max crit rate, which is very, very important for his hunter, but he's rocking crit rate, attack, and then attack. No real complaints there. No real complaints. You have a dark attacker built like a dark attacker should be. And then you have a dark Sand Wraith. Not really sure if you use him at all. But he's on Valor set, rocking defense, attack, and then crit rate. Crit rate isn't necessary. It could help his damage, but crit rate isn't necessary. But if you are using him, definitely get his crit rate up. Valor set's fine. I have no real complaints. His main job, though, at least in my opinion, is for SP Siphon, and he is usable in PvP. Dark Gatita with a square slot. You do have him on a Ruin set as well. You have HP, attack, and then crit rate, max crit. As long as he survives, I'm sure he does the job that you need him to do. My only complaint, though, is Dark Gatito. If he's surviving something, I would say, if possible, switch that HP gem out with another attack gem of Ruin. Get him some more crit rate on that attack gem, and just let him go full glass. Full glass, dude. Pretty much one-shots everything in the game besides dragons. But he can come pretty close to the earlier dragons, like, what, Dragon 7? Maybe Dragon's 8 or something like that. If you can get him there without dying, but great mon. Dark Bulby doesn't really need crit, but you have her on a Ruin set, rocking defense, HP, and then attack. Nothing wrong with that. Bruiser build, you're trying to get some more damage out of her by having her on a Ruin set in case she does crit. Nothing wrong with that. And then your Dark Tina is on a Siphon set with near max crit rate. 93%, pretty darn good. But you have her there with a recovery gem up there with some crit rate on it. I understand why, because of that crit rate. Attack, and then crit rate again. So all you need to do is really tweak one of her crit rate gems. Well, primarily tweak this crit rate gem on her, and she should be good to go, man. And she does need that crit for both her morale boost and her hunter, so I understand why you might be compromising for her gem set. Dark Kiki, doesn't look like you really used her, but she is rocking an intuition set with attack, crit rate. I need water. But attack, crit rate, and then defense. Personally, if you're using her, I would just do crit rate, attack, attack, or even crit rate, attack, attack, because she's a dark type and she does have self-sustain, but you didn't finish booking her up, so maybe you used her at some point in time, or maybe you were going to use her, but you're like, nah, dude, I'm out. Dark Seether definitely needs that max crit, but on a Ruin set, rocking attack, crit rate, and then HP. You don't really like your Darkmon to be very, very glassy, which is okay. Just run him with a crit lead, and he should be okay if you do use him. Dark Moonflower on an intuition set. You might be using her or not using her. Probably not, though, because she's not booked up. She has plenty of books, and she doesn't have a square slot, sadly. Maybe one day, perhaps get a gem conversion slot if you want to use her. Not the end of the world. Very hard-hitting Mon, but I mean, I have nothing else really to say other than get a square slot and get her crit rate up for the double hunter. Then you have a Dark Fib on an intuition set, and he's nearly 70%, well 76% crit on him, but he's rocking HP, attack, crit rate. He could be built numerous ways, so the way you have him is perfectly fine. He can deal damage, he can heal himself, he can heal the squad. One of my favorite Mons of all times. Then you have a Dark Rudolph with max crit. Decent Titans Mon, especially at Evo 2.3, but she's rocking attack, defense, and then crit rate. Nothing wrong with that because she does have Hunter, but she does have max crit rate as an attacker type, so I don't have too many complaints with the Bruiser build. For max survivability, Dark Hunter, not even going to talk about. Just not going to talk about. Dark Sphinx. Sphinx needs to return, man. He needs to return as a not for a rebirth Mon, because Benji is just gag me with a machete. That's all Benji is. Benji is not fun at all. But looks like you were working on this one at some point in time. Maybe abandon it. But that one's rocking crit rate, HP, and then attack. It does need crit, so if you ever use it or ever come back to it, definitely work on its crit. But if you don't use it, disregard. Next up, though, is your Dark Flora. Whole bunch of resist on her, but she's on a conviction set, rocking HP, attack, defense, standard bruiser build. Again, as sappers, they just need to survive to be able to do their damage. I have no problems with this. Dark Yeti, near max crit rate, so perhaps you're using her at some point in time, but she's not fully booked up. But she's rocking attack, crit rate, and then defense. She doesn't need crit rate. Yeah, she doesn't need crit rate, but maybe you're trying to give her more damage with her being a dark type to take advantage of her crit damage. Nothing wrong with that if you do use her. Dark Radis, you have some crit rate on him, but he's a defense aggressor, so he should be triple defense in my opinion. But you have crit rate, HP, attack, but he's a defense aggressor. Not really sure what you're doing here with this one. No further questions on that one. Dark Sea Star, intuition set with defense, and defense. You got some crit rate subs up in there, a little bit of resist. No real problem here. Great starting off Mon as a defender. Great crit lead on her as well. Not really much else for her. Good for, especially for beginner players. Okay mid game, but late game she does fall off. Not hard, but kind of hard. And then you have a Dark Birdie over here with 90% crit rate, but he's rocking HP, crit rate, and then HP again. I'm not a big fan of aggressors having crit rate on him, but perhaps you can get away with using the crit rate on him for damage if you have multiple ones. So that's something to think about if you use them, but if you don't use them at all, disregard. Then you have another Dark Sea Star with defense, defense, and defense. If you want to build her for more damage, then definitely put her on intuition like you had before. But really, aggressors are just there to be annoying. But she does have that crit lead. Then you have a Dark Snow White with not max crit, but attack, crit rate, and then attack. Definitely try to get max crit on her whenever you can. This is quite a good mod to have in anyone's repertoire because her hunter hits like no other, and then exposed weakness is a nice icing on the cake in my opinion. And you do have her fully booked up as well, so it looks like you might have been investing in her. Definitely get that crit rate up when you can. I know it's easier said than done though, because Tina and golems can be a problem. But moving on, Dark Mowgli, who you have fully booked up, 90% crit rate on her. All she needs is just a crit lead, but she's rocking attack, crit rate, and then attack. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. No problems there. Then another Snow White with the same amount of crit rate on her, but on a Valor set, rocking HP attack, crit rate. Yep, HP attack, crit rate. Again, go for max crit if you can. If not, it kind of negates her hunter. So definitely aim for max crit. Probably above all. If not, hunter is completely useless. Then Dark Pegasus on an SP Siphon set. You got attack, HP, crit rate. That's fine. That's fine depending on where you're using him at. Maybe give him an attack gem instead, since the HP gem just has a little bit of crit rate on it. Nothing too amazing to compromise on. Dark Pegasus is a good substitute for Dark Mona if you don't have a Dark Mona, and Dark Mona is always a good substitute for any mon that you have that you want used as a wave clearer, but you don't have a Fire Siegfried, a Draka, a Sarah, Sierra, whatever the heck you want to call her, a Tina, or perhaps maybe a Camilla, if Camilla's actually worth it. Another Dark Sea Star, I won't waste my time with that. Dark Thor on a Ruin set, nearly max crit on him. Great mon, but he's rocking crit rate, defense, and then attack. Perfectly fine, perfectly fine. I'm sure he does his job well. Perhaps run a crit lead with him though, just to ensure he gets his defense down off and he gets that courageous strike off. Dark Yaksha, nearly max crit on her. She has adrenaline, so she can heal everybody every single turn, and she has silence. Very niche mon, but I believe in the right hand she could be very, very useful. But on a Ruin set with crit rate, defense, and then attack, no real problems. She doesn't need crit for her damage, but it doesn't hurt at all, so no real problems right there. Dark Mino, because why not? He's on an intuition set. He could have max crit, but you didn't finish off that crit rate gem. HP is fine. Nice crit rate on that gem. And then attack is fine, even though it might be like, I don't know, overkill. Then another Dark Pegasus. Dark Venus, which you have on a recovery set with HP, and then attack. So a little bit of damage out of her as well. And with the recovery set, she should be perfectly fine with her recovery because she's getting it from that set. 25%, and with that recovery sub, she's fine. Another Dark Sea Star. Looks like you're working on a Dark Succubus. You're working on another Dark Thor. You do have a Dark Merlin, which is in the process of being worked on whenever you can. And then a Dark Medusa, Dark Ramu, and then a Nifa. So that's pretty much it for the mons that you have right here. Let's go take a look at your storage. You have a Dark Odin, Light Incubus, Arthur, Variant Arthur, Siegfried, Wood Artemis, some Siegfrieds again, another Mowgli. All kinds of Wood Garudas, man. All kinds. I would expect you to have a lot better damage in Wood Titans, my boy. What is going on here? But your box is probably neater than mine. Nothing else too amazing in here. Nothing groundbreaking. You have some Sarahs. You do have a Light Wild Fang. You have 2 Light Wild Fangs. I would definitely build them once you get a chance. Some Pins. Whole bunch of Gleams. Saving up maybe for Shadow, I guess. I don't think I saw silver, so. And ooh. Okay, silver's over here, Sonic's over here, Knuckle, Shadow. Okay, so they're over here. So maybe you're holding up for Shadow. I understand. If we can somehow get him. But okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and check out what he's running with in PvP. And also for golems as well, because I'm a little bit curious. Then after that I can get off here so you can do Titans. But let's see what we have in golems. Okay, you're running 3 Phoenix and a Light Mowgli, so they should be clearing waves out perfectly fine. Definitely helps if they each can target a single target. Golem team is fine. I'm not sure what your runtime is. I wish it would show you without having to do it, but that's perfectly fine. Let's take a look at your PvP team. You're currently in Challengers Tier 2, which you're way higher than me. Well, let's take a peek at your offensive team. You're running Dark Miho, Fire Bast, Fire Draka, and then Dark Victoria. So Dark Miho is there, I guess, to mitigate damage, to take the brunt of the hits. Bast is there to heal, and I think Bast has dominance. But I know your Bast has Pugilist as well, so your Bast can possibly possibly stun while having self-sustain with the Battle Rush. Fire Draka is there for wave clearing, and then Dark Victoria, Dark Nike is there as the cream of the crop to hit the mons with defense down, so Fire Draka can do his job. Definitely nothing wrong with that comp. And then the defense team is your Succubus, Light Miho, Dark Miho could be an annoying duo, Water Shiva, and then Light Victoria. So that's pretty much it for the review, you guys. Once again, I want to thank you for allowing me to use your account. I definitely appreciate it. I hope you guys check out the review that he did as well. Overall, it looks like you have a good understanding of the mons. Some I would like to see you tweak. My main complaint though is that you have mons with unfinished crit rate gems on them, where in my opinion, if you're going to go with crit rate, go for crit rate. Like, go balls deep for crit rate. Like, give up everything for that crit rate. In most cases, it's not necessary, but if there's a mon that is crit rate reliant, you have them with a crit rate gem on them, at least top the crit rate gem off. That should at least help to give them a little bit more damage, especially if they're on the brink of nearly max crit versus no max crit. But other than that, it's definitely been a joy reviewing your account. I definitely hope this account review works. But I'll see you in the guild, of course, and on Discord. And to all those that made it this far in this video, thank you so much for watching, you guys. And I'll see you later. Peace out.